For much of the 2 years I've known him, all he ever did was whine and complain about how women ignored him, how all his crushes friend-zoned him, and how he'd been treated like a social pariah. Let me tell you a little secret about guys, okay? Let me tell you, come real close, let me tell you. Guys will smash anything, okay? Welcome back to another episode of Based on a True Story. My name is Rafael Omar, and today I've got a story for you about when friends with benefits go wrong. I know there's some people out there who probably got friends with benefits right now, and listen, it's always great to have those benefits with no strings attached, but sometimes there are strings that you can't see. Sometimes there's strings that develop after the benefits start, and that can cause some problems. So I hope you got your coffee. I know I got my coffee. Let me just, let's go ahead and get into it. About 10 months ago, I, a 23-year-old female, started sleeping with my guy friend. For much of the 2 years I've known him, all he ever did was whine and complain about how women ignored him, how all his crushes friend-zoned him, and how he'd been treated like a social pariah. He'd constantly say that girls brushed him off because he was too much of a nice guy. Yes, he literally said this frequently. He also complained a lot about his looks. He's maybe a 5 on a really good day, and his height, he's around 5'6". He's 32. He's only ever had one girlfriend in his life, and that lasted all of 4 months. And prior to me, he had only had sex with random women off of these meet and sleep websites, besides his one girlfriend and hookers. Wow, he sounds like quite a catch. The fact that there's even benefits about to transpire here blows my mind just from what you described, but let's keep going. When his male friends warned him that maybe his standards were too high or out of his league, he would insist that all he ever wanted in a girlfriend was someone who was cute and loyal and into him. When I started sleeping with him, there's your first problem. It seemed like a perfectly reasonable idea. Let me pause right here. Everything you've just said up until this point makes this dude seem like the biggest loser on the block. But then you say it seemed like a perfectly reasonable idea. You might be one of the dumbest chicks I've come across on this channel. And I'm judging you. I want you to know I'm judging you harshly. He had been an incel for several years, and I, being a late bloomer, hadn't had much sexual experience outside my ex-boyfriend of 1 year. I was looking to explore my sexuality without sleeping my way through half the city. He seemed like a safe choice. In the beginning, it was great. He stopped complaining so much about everything, became motivated to get his life together career-wise, and often said I was a very positive force in his life. He told me at least a dozen times that I made him happy and confident. I often praised and complimented him to help raise his self-esteem. Also, the sex was amazing, and I was learning all sorts of new things. We went at it like rabbits constantly, and he would spend hours worshiping my body. Around the 6-month mark, I realized I might be catching feelings. I tried to ignore it, and it worked for a short while, but it became increasingly hard to do so. We were spending the majority of our time together. If I wasn't at his place, he was at mine. We'd spend days at a time just hanging out at home, playing video games, watching movies, being silly. If we weren't doing that, we were going out dancing or to dinner, bars, etc. He even invited me on a 2-week vacation, and we had a blast. The whole trip, he kept telling me how amazing everything was and how glad he was to have me there. When other guys flirted with me, he would get jealous and upset. So, like a moron, I assumed all signs pointed to him being very close to asking to make things official. Well, that didn't happen. After finally getting the courage to share my feelings the other day, he made it clear he wasn't interested in a real relationship with me. Wow. That's not the end of the story. I just need to take a second and she described a loser at the beginning of the story and is now surprised that he was just trying to hit it and quit it. Honestly, I'm impressed with him. He's starting to look like the smart one. I was crushed hurt, and most of all, confused. He always said all he wanted was a girl who was cute and loyal and into him, right? So of course, he'd want to date me seriously. Not only did I check all the boxes, but I surpassed them. I'm slim, attractive, and was good to him. He constantly said how I treated him better than any girl he ever had, that he was so lucky to have me in his life, and that I'd made him into a better man. And yet here he was blowing me off. This from a guy who'd been openly rejected or ignored by almost every woman he'd ever had a crush on. It's amazing. It's not even an issue of ego or pride for me. Oh, by the way, the reason he doesn't want to date me is because I don't have big enough tits and I'm not Latina. Apparently, that's his fetish. Wow. I got rejected by a former incel who was really willing to throw away something real for a fantasy of some big-titted Spanish chick. I'm not crazy, am I? How should I deal with this? And how should I deal with him? Wow, this story just got dumber and dumber as I was reading it. I just think that it's so interesting how, let me see if I can find it. You said, it's not even an issue of ego or pride for me. But right before that, you said, here he was blowing me off. This from a guy who'd been openly rejected or ignored by almost every woman he'd ever had a crush on. How is that not ego? You started this interaction by looking down on this man. You thought that you were doing him a favor by sleeping with him. But then when the truth came out that he really wasn't attracted to you the way you thought he was, now the issue is on him. Here's the thing. I think that you've learned a very valuable lesson about guys. Let me tell you a little secret about guys, okay? Let me tell you, come real close. Let me tell you. Guys will smash anything, okay? Dudes are notorious for putting it in anything, okay? If you were 50 pounds heavier, if you were whatever you define to be unattractive is, he would probably still tap that thing. He'd still tap it. He may not tell anybody he's tapping it, but he would still tap it. You cannot take a man sticking his Johnson in something as some definitive statement of the way he feels. You seem young, so I take it that this is something that's going to stick with you for a long time. I hope so. In the meantime, that guy just got a confidence boost. Not only was he tapping it from, as you define, a thin, attractive girl who you think should be good enough to fit his standards, he was getting it without strings attached, and he was able to make you jealous. And you know what? I'm willing to bet this. This is what I'm willing to bet. I bet that when he denied you, you found him more attractive. I'm willing to bet that he became more attractive to you when he tossed you to the side like a pair of old dirty drawers. Because in that moment, he showed some type of confidence about himself, right? Enough confidence to toss you to the side. And that confidence came out. And I bet you saw, I'm willing to put money that you saw it. And that one of the main reasons why you're even writing this post is because you're trying to decide, should you continue to pursue him even though he's already kicked you to the side? I bet that's the case. Matter of fact, you don't even have to tell me that's the case. I know it's the case because that's how y'all think. See, I got it. That's how y'all think. It's when he don't want you. That's when you want him. I bet you that's the case. But either way, he don't want you, so it don't really matter. Let's take a look at the comments. Nixie Dust says, nothing is guaranteed in life, and attraction is highly unpredictable. You both sound pretty immature, but you can't expect a friends with benefit to want more just because you do. You consider him a 5, and apparently he thinks the same of you. Not his ideal, but good for now. No one wins when you play the ratings game, and you might be happier treating partners as people instead of a collection of traits made to please you. My man Nixie Dust was hitting it out the park with that statement. What did he say? He said, you consider him a 5, and apparently he thinks the same of you. You know, this is obviously a massive shot to the ego, because I bet she thought that she didn't give herself a number, but to describe herself, to call him a 5 and then to describe herself implies that she thinks pretty highly of herself. He don't think highly of you though, and I'm willing to bet he thinks you are probably around where he is. But it's all subjective. and subjectively, he don't want you. Next statement. And now for some tough love. You said, so of course he'd want to date me seriously. Not only did I check all the boxes, but I surpassed them. I'm slim, attractive, and was good to him. This sounds very similar to what the stereotypical nice guy would say after getting friend zoned, e.g., why wouldn't she want me? I'm a nice guy who will be the one in the kitchen making dinner. Pointing this out so you're aware. So she's essentially saying the things from the girl's perspective as what a nice guy would say from the nice guy perspective after being rejected. That's deep. You know, I love that they're roasting her in the comments too. I love it. She needs it. Not just to be mean. She needs it to give her a new perspective on men, specifically on herself interacting with men. Interface 84 says, this all sounds immature as I think I just realized I'm too old for Reddit. And sir, ma'am, whoever you are, I am right there with you. It's extremely immature, but as I'm sure you, I, and everyone knows, immaturity does not know age. And there's some old people immature as too. So there's that. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.